On Roblox, there are so many different types of car games you can play. There's realistic games, more roleplay centered games, some are more arcade focused, and there's more racing focused games as well. With all these categories for just one genre of games, it may be hard to even pick which ones you want to play. Which is why, in this video, I plan on playing every car game on Roblox and ranking them based on my subjective opinion to help you guys decide which games you want to play. Obviously, not every car game will be in one video. I do plan on making a part 2 and maybe even a part 3. So if you want to see those, I would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you can know when I upload. But before I get into the rankings, I have to explain how I'm going to do the rankings or the whole video isn't going to make any sense. I'm going to rank each game based on 6 categories. Each category will be rated from a score of 1 to 5, 1 being terrible and 5 being very good with minor or no flaws. The score for each category will be added up and that will be the total score for that game. Total scores will be saved for the end of the video. Why, you ask? Because I need a reason for you to stay till the end of the video. I need watch time, dude. Sorry. The total score of each individual game will decide the rankings at the end of the video. These categories are the car visuals, or how good the cars look overall, the map. This includes how detailed the map is, how big it is it fun to drive on, and more. The engine sounds, pretty much just how good the cars sound. The progression includes stuff like getting currency, how easy or hard it is to get new cars, is the game fun to grind, etc. The driving, basically just how good the car feels to drive. And lastly, the customization, stuff like tuning, body kits, wheels, etc. Now that I've explained the categories and the ranking system I'm going to use, let's get right into the first game. You can't make a video on car games without mentioning the most popular one, Driving Empire. The first thing you see when you hop in the game are the cars, duh. Which is exactly what I'm going to be talking about first. As you can see, the cars are very realistic in detail. These good looks aren't just limited to the outside. They put just as much effort into the interiors as well. The gauges all work, there's screens, gear shifters, and buttons. Overall, not much to say about the looks. These are obviously some of the best car models on Roblox. So the visuals get a 5 out of 5. Next is the map. This is where Driving Empire kind of lacks in my opinion. Yes, the map is pretty big, but that's pretty much all it has. The roads are just not fun to drive on at all. The map looks very bland with really nothing in it except some speed traps and the occasional ramp. I can't really pinpoint exactly what's wrong with the map, but what I do know is the map is just not fun to drive on at all. And I know it's not an issue with just the driving because I genuinely have a lot of fun racing in this game. The city just kind of feels like a grid, just a bunch of straight lines with not much depth to them. The map as a whole just leaves a lot to be desired, and for that reason, the map gets a 2 out of 5. The next category is something I consider very important to car games. That's the engine sounds. Let's hop in this Audi R8 and see how it sounds. Take a listen. Yeah, not gonna lie, that sounds pretty bad. Here's an Audi R8 in real life for reference. Driving Empire has this weird thing with the sounds where the startup and the idle actually sound pretty good, but when you actually drive the car, it just doesn't sound good. It sounds like a bad recreation of the car most of the time. Or in Pagani's case, not only does the engine sound terrible, but it's nothing like its real life counterpart. This is a real Pagani, for example. Sounds amazing, right? Now here's a Pagani in Driving Empire. Yes, pretty bad. The only car that I can say sounds good that I found is the Mustang Shelby GT500, which still isn't accurate to how it sounds in real life. Because most of the sounds are just bad, the engine sound will be getting a 2 out of 5. The next category I'll be talking about is the progression. In Driving Empire, there's actually a decent amount of ways to get money. The first and main way of making money are races. Driving Empire actually has a lot of races, and each race can be done either solo, multiplayer, or with global queues. Solo races have the goals you have to meet based on the time you take to complete the race. And after you complete them, there's literally no reason to do solo races ever again. Multiplayer is just with multiple people in your current server, and global is the matchmaking system that puts you into a race with other people from different servers, which honestly saved the racing in this game. Before global, you could only do multiplayer or solo. The main issue with multiplayer was that no one would ever join the races, especially if they knew beforehand that they were not gonna win. Just look at how empty this place is even now. But the global races completely fixed this problem, especially since the queue times are actually really short. You can also be a cop and arrest people for their bounties, or be a criminal and rob random ATMs across the map, or do the bank heist, which honestly isn't really fun or worth it at all. Just doing races will make you way more money. There's like two really well designed races, those being cross country and circuit race. Circuit race is genuinely the best thing to come out of this game. I actually really enjoy doing this race, and it gives you the most amount of money along with the cross country race. The other races aren't too bad, but just not as good as cross country and circuit. There's also playtime rewards and daily quests you can complete for 2 times money boost, and the native K place, which I've never used, so I don't know if it's worth it. Overall, the progression is a 4 out of 5. The next category is the driving. The cars are responsive and handle super well. It's kind of a mix of arcade and a little bit of sim. The cars aren't super easy to drive, but it's not super hard either, so there's still skill involved. Some cars do get very wonky and unstable at high speeds though. Overall, the driving is super fun, not too easy, not too hard, so it gets a 4 out of 5. The last category for Driving Empire is the customization. Driving Empire's customization is pretty limited for like 90% of the cars, but there's still a small percentage of cars that have body kits and stuff like that you can put on them. When it comes to the tuning, every car is the same. You upgrade the engine, brakes, tires, and nitrous 6 times. Each upgrade slightly upgrades that part and also opens up a slot where you can put in parts. These parts actually offer a bunch of build diversity for each car. As you can see, each part has different stats they give. The way you get these parts are from tuning kits. What are tuning kits, you ask? Gambling. It's just gambling. Since the parts add a lot of build diversity, I let the gambling slide. Overall, the customization gets a 3 out of 5. Very limited and leaves a lot to be desired for most cars, and still no window tinting, which is crazy. Up next, we have Drive World. The cars honestly just look mid. They aren't amazingly detailed or anything, but the models look good enough. Interior is pretty much the same. Doesn't look good, but I wouldn't say they look bad either. So I'll give the visuals a 3 out of 5. Next is the map. The map is very large and has a lot of ramps, boost pads, destructible objects like streetlights, signs, and more. That perfectly gives off the arcade vibe that the game is going for. The roads are super fun to drive on, and the map just has a lot of depth to it. And there's still 3 other maps. One is literally just a giant track called Race World, and there's another map based on a city in Japan. The last map is a place called Auction World, where I assume you can go to auction limited cars and stuff. I can't actually go there because there's a level requirement, which sucks, but I understand, I guess. Overall, the map gets a 4 out of 5. Now for the engine sound. Overall, they're not too bad, I guess. There are some nice sounding cars like this Porsche, for example. But the other cars honestly don't sound too good, but I wouldn't say it's worse than Driving Empire, so I'll give them a 3 out of 5. The progression is pretty good in my opinion. There's daily quests, playtime rewards, there's daily race challenges, and there's so many races you can do. For example, there's roulette races where it picks a random car for everyone to drive from the people in the race. But it seems to just pick the worst car every single time for some reason, which is pretty lame. There's also obby races just like the one from GTA 5 Online. I think there is a bit of a problem though. I'll be honest, I haven't really done research of the best money making methods or anything, but from my time playing, it really seems like the main way of making money is just doing races, which isn't a problem by itself. The issue is how expensive it is to upgrade your cars. $2 million for one upgrade is absolutely ridiculous. And more expensive car will actually have more expensive upgrades. I don't know why, but upgrading a car usually costs way more than the car itself. But other than this issue, the progression doesn't have any problems. I just think the races should give way more money. Overall, the progression gets a 3 out of 5. Up next is the driving. The driving is very fun and captures the sense of speed and arcade feel perfectly. But it can be wonky at times. And if you get any bit of airtime as you're holding down a turn input, you can get messed up. Overall, the driving is good, but I would still prefer Driving Empire's driving over this game, so it'll get you 3 out of 5. Up next is the customization. The customization is pretty good. You can upgrade each part of the engine, multiple handling related upgrades, nitrous, and even a gearbox. The only issue is the insane prices, which I already mentioned earlier, so I'll move on. For the cosmetic upgrades, you can change the color of multiple individual parts of the car, like the interior, the spoiler, the steering wheel, and more. Some cars have body kits you can put on, and every other car has diffusers and stuff you can put on them, but it's the same stuff for every car and they honestly look pretty bad. Overall, the customization gets a 3 out of 5. Up next, we have Southwest Florida. I have some things I want to say about this game, so let's just get into it. Firstly, the visuals. The cars look good, not amazing, but it gets the job done. But the cars have no interiors at all. No first-person camera, no nothing. And the wheels are 2D, which is disgusting. 2 out of 5 just off that alone. That's actually disgusting. It's 2026 and you have 2D wheels. That's crazy. Up next is the map. The map is pretty big, but also really bland and boring. It's literally just straight lines, and most of the time you're just driving up and down the same road. 2 out of 5. Let's move on. Now let's talk about the engine sounds. Take a listen. These are actually the best sounding cars in the video so far. I'll give them that. The cars sound pretty close to their in real life counterparts, so it gets a 4 out of 5. Now for the progression. When you first load into the game, you're greeted with a screen that lets you select a job. Each job has their own dedicated building. Now I want you to guess, what do you think you do in these jobs in order to make money? If you guessed absolutely nothing, then you would be right. The way you make money in this game is by literally doing nothing. And you know what's really funny about this? The game is literally designed for you to go AFK, leaving your PC overnight to make money. But the devs still have the audacity to add an anti-AFK system. Yes, you heard that right. In a game where the only way to make money is to AFK, they added an anti-AFK system. Like, genuinely, what was the thought process behind this? That's like if a mansion tycoon added an anti-AFK system. It's just dumb. Why would you do that? Basically, if you stand still for too long, the game just stops giving you money. And notice how I said stand still and not go AFK. I literally mean if your avatar is standing still, even if you're auto-clicking, the game will just stop giving you money. No warning, no nothing. This forces people to macro in order to keep their avatar constantly moving, so they keep getting money. There's so many things wrong with this system. They could have at least made the jobs interactive or something. The buildings are literally just cosmetic and you don't actually do your job. I don't even know if you can call this progression. This is the only way to make money, by the way. There's no racing, no quests, no challenges, and driving doesn't even give you money in a driving game. So basically, if you're not AFKing in your job building, you are wasting your time. I didn't even mention how jobs have levels to them, each level giving more money, and you can only get higher levels from macroing. Based on what I found on Wiki, going from intern to CEO takes 90 hours of straight macroing. Also, there's 3 separate game passes for making more money. 2 times pay rate, 2 times pay, and 2 times promotion speed. And they're each expensive as hell. Genuinely, who's buying this? Because of all this, the progression gets the first 1 out of 5 of the video. Up next is the driving. The driving in this game honestly isn't good. The handling on most cars sucks, and the driving feels like it was literally designed for driving in a straight line. For this reason, the driving is a 2 out of 5. Last is the customization. The customization in this game is genuine garbage. There's barely even any color options. The last upgrade for every performance upgrade requires you to level up certain jobs, which is obviously just AFKing because you don't actually do anything in this game. And the only slight depth in the tuning is locked behind a paywall. The customization gets a 1 out of 5 rating. Now I'll be talking about Midnight Racing Tokyo. Visually, the cars look amazing. They're detailed, the colors look great, the wheels aren't 2D, but from what I've seen, the interiors are really lacking. So for that reason, I have to give it a 4 out of 5. Up next, we have the map. There's multiple different maps, and not only do they all look good, but they're all super fun to drive on. And there's so much variety between the maps, and none of them feel like repeats of the other. 5 out of 5 for the maps. Now for the engine sounds. Just listen. I think we can all agree, the clip pretty much speaks for itself. The engine sounds good, a 5 out of 5. Next is the progression. I have a decent amount to say, but I'm going to make it short because we still have another game to cover after this. So for the progression, most of the cool cars and even tuning are level up, which is pretty bad by itself, but grinding levels is also super tedious on top of that. The best races to grind only give about 7 million yen an hour. The only thing saving this progression is that the racing is fun, but even then it gets to a point where it's just tedious. 3 out of 5. Next is the driving. The driving feels super good. It's so satisfying and rewarding when you're driving good, but if you mess up, you're going to pay for it. That's bullshit. This is one of the more skill-based car games on the platform. I think they captured the sim-like feel perfectly. The driving gets a 5 out of 5. Now for the customization. The customization gives a lot of options depending on the car. A lot of cars have body kits you can put on them in any combination, which gives a bunch of variety, and the custom color circle is always a good addition. The tuning has lots of depth, and any minor change to the tune can massively affect how your car feels when driving, or at least I think it does. I don't know. I can't actually tune my car at all because everything is locked behind a level requirement, which is pretty damn lame if you ask me. Like, imagine if I hopped on Forza Horizon just to see that I can't upgrade my car because my manufacturer level isn't high enough. Oh yeah, that's something I didn't mention before. It's not even locked behind your player level. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a level based on how much you use a certain brand of car, like Toyota, BMW, Porsche, Lamborghini, for example. I'm sorry, that's just a terrible feature that has no reason to exist. The customization gets a 3 out of 5. The tuning is super in depth and is actually super good, but it doesn't matter because it's locked behind the most tedious thing possible. So I just can't give it the 5 out of 5 it deserves. Up next is Carzone. The visuals on this game are genuinely amazing. I mean, just look at them. The cars are super detailed and are genuinely on par with Driving Empire. And the interiors make me feel things I can't even say on here. I don't think it's ridiculous to say at all that Carzone does the interiors better than Driving Empire. The visuals get a 5 out of 5. Up next is the map. The map is decently sized, a lot of different areas, but most of the roads are just straight lines and lack a bit of depth. But overall, the map is still really well made and looks good and is fun to drive on. 4 out of 5. Up next are the engine sounds. The engine sounds are actually pretty good. Take a listen. They sound better and are more accurate to their in real life counterparts than pretty much all the other games in the video, with the sole exception of Midnight Tokyo, of course. Engine sounds get a 4 out of 5 for Carzone. Now for the progression. The progression feels very good. The races are super fun to drive and give a lot of money. There's playtime rewards and daily challenges that give 2 times money boosts. There's other modes like beam rush and delivery jobs, but honestly, I can't be bothered to try them. Overall, grinding feels good. It doesn't feel like it's sucking your life force away in order to get some cash, so it gives a 4 out of 5. Up next is the driving. The driving feels good. It's fun to drive around the map, mostly because of how good the cars feel. The cars are super responsive and handle super well. Very easy to pick up, but there's still a bit of a skill ceiling as well. Lastly, we have the customization. For the visual stuff, I'm sorry, I don't feel like reading all of them. Just look at the left of your screen, please. The game offers a wide range of colors, as well as custom colors, so you can put any RGB code you want. Also, some cars have body kits you can put on them, which look really nice. For performance upgrades, you just upgrade stuff like the engine, gearbox, turbo, brakes, and you can change stuff like the drivetrain and upgrade your tires. Also, there's window tinting, which is cool, but I personally can't really notice a difference in game. Overall, the customization isn't too bad. There's a decent amount of options, but nothing too crazy, so it gets a 3 out of 5. Now that we have all the scores for each game, I think it's time to actually rank and review them. Let's start at the bottom with Southwest Florida. Southwest Florida got an incredible score of 11 out of 30. Well deserved, this game is genuine garbage. Next is Drive World. All these scores give Drive World a total score of 19 out of 30. Honestly, coming into this, I thought Drive World would get a higher score. I know the score make it seem like the game is just the most mid thing ever, which isn't bad by the way. I actually really enjoy the game. Up next is Driving Empire. This gives Driving Empire a total score of 20 out of 30, which places Driving Empire 3rd on the rankings. Judging by the scores, you can see Driving Empire is kind of all over the place, with a 5, multiple 4s, and some 2s. It has some things it does really well, but other things that it can improve on a lot as well. Overall, not a bad game, but definitely not as good as it used to be. The next game in the ranking we have is Carzone. This leaves Carzone with a total score of 24 out of 30, which places it 2nd on our rankings. As you can see from the scores, Carzone is just an overall good game. A lot of 4s. Not much to say here, so let's move on to the number 1 game of the video, Midnight Racing Tokyo. This gives Midnight Racing Tokyo a total score of 25 out of 30, to put it in 1st place by 1 point over Carzone. I will say, if they simply just remove the level caps, the progression is arguably a 5 out of 5, and the tuning would for sure get a 5 out of 5. But I can't even experience it for myself. I just have to watch YouTube videos and be mad at the fact that I can't even touch half of the stuff that I'm looking at unless I put in multiple hours of grinding the same race over and over. Really, all you guys have to do is just remove the level cap, especially on the tuning. Like I said earlier, imagine you hop on like Forza Horizon, for example, or even Driving Empire, and you see that you can't even upgrade your car until you get a certain level, or not even being able to buy your dream car just because of some level cap. Like me, for example, I want to buy a Corvette, which is my dream car, but I can't because it's locked behind a stupid level cap. I genuinely cannot even think of a single good reason for a level cap in a racing game. All it does is turn me away from your game, which is a shame because this game is genuinely amazing and could realistically get a 28 or even a 29 out of 30 on my rankings. So that pretty much concludes this video. I know I missed some games, for example, Greenville and Midnight Chasers. I literally couldn't fit in more games or the video would be too long. So I plan on making a part 2, which will include these games and more. So stay tuned for that and leave a like and subscribe if you want to see part 2. I'm probably gonna make part 2 regardless, but seeing likes is obviously gonna motivate me a lot more. If you feel like there's some games you want to see for part 2, now's the time to leave them down in the comments, please. I would love to see your suggestions, and there's a high chance I will include that game in the video. Also, if you looked at my channel, please ignore my upload schedule. I do plan on locking in and uploading more. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and I'll see y'all next time.